I spent 21 years in the Navy, and 17 of that was serving in naval special operations as a special warfare combat crewman. Really, the job as a whole is one big trauma infliction. To seek this treatment, it's been a path where I went 13 years where I completely did no medical treatment, no help, and I was really lying to myself. Going along the way, I didn't realize like the level of dysregulation I had internally. I would say I'd always ride between a 5 and a 7, even having done a lot of mental health work. So that depends on a lot of other variables, where I'm around, what I'm doing at the time. That's on the mental side. On the physical side, I would say I'm always riding at a something within an 8 to 10. And again, especially neurological pain, with migraines, neck pain, shoulder pain, numbness and neuropathy, bilaterally in my hands and wrists. So it was about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, where a lot of people in our community had found out about Aurelius and how these two treatment modalities combined, um, the power of that, and then getting results. When you know yourself now and know you have these problems, that's why this was the one place I needed to come to. One thing that resonates that they did kind of bottom line up front us with was about every 20 hours of time in the chamber, you're going to start feeling these effects. So to date, in the last 3 weeks, I've not had a migraine, which is if I walked out of here and said that was one thing and that was all I got, that's huge because how it drains on my mental battery is so profound. Joint pain. So when you look at joint inflammation and inflammation reduction, made a significant reduction in my joint pain. Another advancement is, or thing that I've noticed within the treatment is my cognitive abilities. I started like doing this level of Sudoku when I started, and I'd kind of attained like, okay, I'm like this level of player. I could do these kind of level of puzzles, and starting this, I could barely like follow the numbers and track. And I say about within week one, I started doing like the mediums, and then the next day I advanced like the super hards. I just pushed myself right to the hardest. Said, well, it's getting better. Let's try this out. The next day I did two in one session, and I've never even done that hardest level in my life. From reading, I would have a hard time tracking uh, just lines in general, and then even recall what I just read on one sentence. And now here I am. I've been kind of chopping about a book and a half every other day. So I'm like reading my speed of reading and then be able to retention and recall the information in that content is so profound. Like it's kind of like, oh, you can actually read a book now. Not a lot of stuff is stressing me out, which is a different feeling than I've ever had in the last, 25, 30 years. I know things are going to improve even out to the next 2 to 3, months because there's a continued healing process, as we saturate our bodies with all these stem cells that we're generating, naturally. And I think that's another profound thing that really reeled me into coming here is there's all a holistic treatment process. There's no chemicals, there's no synthetics that Western medicine has figured out and injecting you with. This is all natural, and that's really something that resonates with me, moving forward in life. Nothing short of impressive. Every single person here comes into the facility every day with the full intention of helping you. You definitely have that family feeling. Everybody's super personal. There's no pressure. They're very accommodating to everything you need to make sure that your treatment experience while you're going through is just comforting and relaxing. And they're genuine. You could definitely sense a level of pride. Everybody here that's come through the door has been banged on, and they just want to put Humpty back together again, and that's really powerful. Especially like there's a huge patriotic sense of everybody here that you could say that they have pride in, supporting what people have done with serving, and yeah, they're very grateful, and it resonates in through every session. There's a couple of things you have going on here when you look at like a cohort, and even if it was a cohort of say fire or law enforcement people, there's always a connection point. Obviously, everybody has like traumas, and so you're sharing those just within the cohort. And yeah, when you have people that were within the special operations community, we all have some commonality and common ground. So I do think that that does help when you're going through treatment. It definitely does, especially when you're spending the amount of time you are with people, whether it's doing the human performance side or in the tank. Yeah, it's nice to have that common ground. I even think if it wasn't just a military groups of cohorts, you would still have people that would find common ground because everybody that comes in through that threshold, that door, is looking for the same thing.